I work for Inland Boat Center in Paris, California. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a Defiance 220 Admiral. Defiance boats are built in Bremerton, Washington. Have been in business since 2003. The president of Defiance is Bo Palmer. He is an avid fisherman from the Pacific Northwest down through Southern California and Mexico. Some of the reasons why the Defiance 220 is so popular is we have starting out with a very steep angle entering the water. This tapers to 21 degrees of dead rise. It means that the boat handles very well in rough water. The hull is also reverse chined. By reversing the chine on a boat when you're on a stop, on the tuna, it keeps side-to-side movement to a minimum. As we work towards the back of the boat, some of the standard features on a 220EX are trim tabs, all bronze through hull fittings. This is a wet deck boat, and you can see by the scuppers that they're basically a stopper ball arrangement, whereas water can come out of the boat, but surge will keep water from going back in on the deck. Especially important when there's 3 or 4 big guys at the back of the boat, and this is very near the water line. This particular boat has a full-length transom. This is a great addition, especially if you're into diving, or on those days when you really hammer them, you may want to add extra fish in a kill bag back on the transom area. In a minute we're going to go up inside the boat and go over some of the features and options. So here we are in the cabin of the 220EX. A couple of things to look at. The boat has sliding side windows. This one has the optional front opening window. The boat can be ordered with solid windows, single or double opening pane windows. We have a V-berth up forward. In this case, this boat has a porta potty. The boat can be optioned out with a marine head and holding tank. When that's not in use, this cushion goes in place and gives you a V-berth where somebody can lay down and catch a nap when they're tired. When we look at the dash of the boat, it's a destroyer wheel, stainless steel. Lots of room to mount electronics, fish finders, GPS, anything you may want to add. Standard equipment on the boat is trim tabs, like we mentioned, operated right here. The switch panel is marked for nav lights, bilge pump, fish boxes, wash down, and horn. They come standard with a tachometer and a fuel gauge. Down here on the deck, you'll see the deck drain and the forward hatch where the forward bilge pump is mounted. The boat comes standard from the factory with both a forward and aft bilge pump. We have seating for 4 adults. We have fairly spacious storage boxes on the starboard side for tackle and equipment, both lower and upper. On the port side of the boat, the lower compartment is going to be our battery boxes, and there is some additional space for gear storage. The upper box is where our battery switch and breaker is. Dual batteries and a switch are standard equipment on all the Defiance boats. As we move back into the cockpit of the boat, you'll notice that this is a very spacious deck area for fishing. This boat has the optional 42-gallon bait tank with the optional workstation on top. That allows you to close off the top of the tank, keep water from splashing. The tank is lighted with an LED light in the bottom of the tank so that your bait stays alive when you're running at night. The standpipe or drain tube is adjustable. When you start out in the morning, you'll run your tank to full level. Later in the day, once you've used quite a bit of your bait and it's getting harder to catch, you run your slider up, reduce the level of water in the bait tank, makes it easier to get your bait, and ultimately lightens the boat a little bit when you're coming home hopefully you've added some weight from the tuna you caught. Rocket launchers and spreader lights are also an option on this boat. This one is set up with a 15 rod rocket launcher system and spreader lights, so you have a lighted work area when you're running out to the fishing ground. The boat has 2 insulated kill boxes or fish boxes, port and starboard. They're foam insulated. They'll keep ice all day, and they're very spacious. Great way to keep your catch. They are plumbed to a gulper style pump, or diaphragm style if you prefer. So you can switch from port to starboard. The reason we use the gulper or diaphragm style pump is that if a fish hook or a sinker were to go through it, it won't wipe it out, like a conventional circular impeller pump. You see the seacocks in here for your bait well. The overflow back up under this corner, and this is your aft bilge pump. I mentioned it before, and I'm going to say it again. No wood in this boat, all composite construction. Defiance boats basically are built by fishermen and for fishermen. This boat will give you many, many seasons of fun out on the ocean. Chasing salmon in the Pacific Northwest, or tuna and dorado down here in Southern California. As far as power options, Inland Boat Center is a dealer for Honda, Yamaha, and Mercury. Yamaha motors are very well thought of, especially in Southern California by our fishermen down here. This boat will run well with a 150 horsepower motor. Most of our fishermen opt to go to 200 because they factor in the load, the guys, the gear, all the stuff that's going to go in to the boat on any day fishing. This one has optional port and starboard cooler boxes. These are plumbed overboard, so they can be filled with ice and cold drinks or lunch. The cushions are actually stored inside these. The great thing about these, besides being a place to store your lunch and cold drinks, is they make a great transition to the bow of the boat. The boat is really nicely equipped with grab rails and a heavy-duty bow rail system. But to get up to the bow, you've got to step up on something, so this makes a very easy transition to the bow of the boat. With pretty much a full top-length handrail here, so you can easily move forward if you're fighting a fish. If you're going up to anchor, you can feel very secure, bracing your knees against these rails.
Okay, stop this for a second. Why don't one of you go up the other side, and as you go forward, we can talk about anchor line.
Okay, so I'm moving up forward to the bow area of the boat, the pulpit. You see a stainless steel davit and hawse pipe. Anchor locker storage is basically 300 feet of 3/8 line. Will also handle 25 feet of chain. Anchor can be obviously permanently left in the davit, spun off on the cleat. The way the forward cockpit is laid out, it gives you a place to sit and give you some leverage when you're pulling the anchor. The boat is available with an optional Lewmar windlass. As we move to the back of the boat, here. So what we're looking at here are combing pads. They're designed to protect your knees. You're up against a rail fighting a fish. They are easily removable for towing or for cleaning the boat. Fuel capacity on a 220 Admiral is 100 gallons. The bait tank capacity is 42 gallons. 100 gallons of fuel with standard power plants, which is generally 150 to 200. These motors, under optimal conditions, will get between 3.5 to 4 miles per gallon. Obviously, load and conditions will determine that. So, plenty of range for offshore fishing or going to the islands. Another standard feature on a 220 Defiance is the raw water washdown. The boat does come with a hose and nozzle that screws into this fitting and then is supported on this stainless steel motor. please, if you have any more questions about any of our Defiance boats, see one of the salesmen in the booth and we'll gladly answer any questions you may have. Thank you and good fishing.